Hey everyone, welcome back to Millennial Min channel. I'm Josh.
I'm Noah.
I'm Shmo.
And we are back with our very first album review. And what better than Blackpink's
Yeah, the ones
second
who started
album
it off.
we've ever listened to on this channel.
Third
officially.
album we've ever listened to.
No, like
Oh,
full through.
Blackpink's second full album.
Yeah, we've listened
Because
to
we
full
listened
through.
to BTS's, right? Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
So, but we're actually going to start doing these album reviews, right?
Yeah, that's the goal.
That's the
Have
goal.
we really only done 3 albums?
3 full length, like
Yeah, I
from
think
beginning
so.
to end in like one session. Yeah,
Yeah,
Interesting.
I think so.
it was Blackpink, then BTS, and Blackpink again.
Yeah. Shmo, do you have something to say about our little Patreon?
I do. So with this one coming out, first thing first, wanted to say shout out to our Patreon subscribers. Appreciate y'all. And if you were interested, check it out in the description. We have a lot of good stuff there, and some stuff that might be a little early.
And if you're listening to this now, there's a good chance you're watching it on Patreon because Patreon's getting it first. Maybe. We haven't decided that yet, actually. But anyway.
True.
Today's the album review. So basically what's going to happen is right now, you're basically going to see a snippet compilation of all our best reactions of each song.
Our
within the
favorite
album.
reactions.
Our favorite reactions, personally. Our favorite reactions of all the songs. And then after you get through that, there's going to be us discussing right now on what our opinion is on the album. And
Our thoughts are
yeah,
not necessarily our opinions, like our thoughts, our favorite parts.
I mean, feel free to skip to the end just to see our thoughts and opinions, but we are going to be putting a bunch of good reactions into the middle of it, so you sit back and enjoy the ride, basically. And this album was a ride. I'm not gonna lie, and we'll talk about it in a bit.
Here we go. Highlight now.
Oh! Pause it.
Yo, that
Pause
was
it.
sick.
That was ill, son. That was cool as hell. That was sick.
Wow, this is sick. Just money rated, dude.
It's just a flex.
Dude, yeah,
like it's just a
literally, they
flex.
like shut down our flex. Like,
Everything's just a
we're gonna
flex.
close that up,
Yeah.
lock that
Holy
up.
shit. Dude, their fits have actually been insane.
Fire so far.
Yeah.
Yo.
The Blackpink katana and then closing of the katana and it cuts the
Yeah.
All of these girls on my bucket shit. That mean they all cap. Being the best at whatever I do. Something on
That's good. That's a
good.
double
That's
entendre.
good.
Look at that. I love that.
I like that.
It flew right by for a second. But
You
now
like
it's-
it. Right when I saw it, I was like, haha, makes sense. And you guys were like,
I
I started laughing. I was
I
like,
thought of it like, oh, it's Cap, right? Like all these other girls, like
Yeah, they're Cap.
They're
They're
just
Cap.
like it's because
because
she said like uppercase shit, and then I was like, kind of felt like Cap, like bullshit, and then you're like, ha, and I was like, that wasn't that funny. And I was like, oh,
Like-
that was good. Caps locks.
Caps lock.
Got it.
This is a good song. I'm sorry, I just gotta say it. This is a good fucking song.
Why are you apologizing?
Yeah.
No, because we've been pausing a lot.
Yeah.
That's why. That's why I'm apologizing. But this is a good fucking song. I really like the
It's very,
meaning behind
like,
this.
I see it's like it's a really nice day outside. You're running through
Yeah.
the grass with a bunch of friends.
All
like,
of a sudden, you run
super
into someone
poppy.
random, and you're
And
like, "Oh, wait
it's
a
interesting
second."
too, because it's like a love song, but like they doubt it.
Yeah,
Like,
it's,
they're
there's
not
so much
sure.
doubt because of like
It
previous
seems too-
heartbreak.
well, it also seems like too perfect, right? Like
Yeah,
us meeting each other is too. What did they say? Us meeting each other.
it
something-
seems scripted. It
seems
doesn't seem like it
scripted.
could be
It
coincidence.
was a script written by
Yeah.
someone else. It's suspicious. It can't be a coincidence.
Yeah.
Wait for it.
Oh, the vibe with it, bro. You're right. It's so good, bro.
I'll play this on the beach.
Is that the first time they ever referenced weed
Reference?
ever?
Wow. Wow.
They're going crazy.
This is crazy.
Oh, it's animated.
Oh, interesting.
They got love conversation.
All right, hear me out. I could be completely full of shit. All right, so that was all of our snippets of our best reactions. Be sure to check out the actual individual videos of those, so you can see us deep dive a little more into each individual song, particularly, so that way you get it all. But y'all would be surprised to know, but we took notes.
A lot of notes.
We all took notes.
Where's my phone? Sorry.
At the end of each reaction, we all took a second and wrote what we thought about the song, what it actually meant, what it felt like, and then we, as the album went on, we kind of revised a little bit our opinion on each song.
And then we played it back again after we finished. We played back the whole album
top to bottom.
We're like, we got to make sure this is good. This is right.
We gave it 2 genuine listens before we are coming with this album.
Yeah, it was kind of like the first listen was us not knowing
anything
the
at
album
all.
is going, listening to the songs before, whatever it may be. So we kind of have the initial experience. And we went back and listened to the whole thing, like track 1 all the way to track 8, and then even there we found some revisions that we didn't think about before.
And can I say, Noah has been absolutely dying
Almost foaming at the mouth
for his shot to go first.
Please.
So we're gonna start. With
Shmo.
You fucking
right,
No,
Oh my
let
God.
it rip.
Okay,
Let it rip.
okay.
Let's
As
see.
you guys saw, if you guys saw the last reaction to "Ready for Love," I had a pretty big revelation in the middle of that song that I believed I knew. With
Ready
the
for
whole,
Love?
Yeah, "Ready for Love."
Okay.
Yeah, in the middle of it.
That's when he did the whole. Like,
Yeah, I did the whole. Oh shit! Oh no! Here we go. Anyways, okay, so this is
lot of
my
friction.
album review right now. All right, here we go. All right, so Pink Venom. So I'm gonna go through each individual song just to show the progress of what the actual album is about, what I believe it's actually truly about. So Pink Venom is directly after whatever incident this album is about. It could be the end of a relationship. It can be the end of a friendship. I don't know particularly what it is about. It technically doesn't really need to be about anything specific. It's just kind of a general emotional state. My opinions of Pink Venom, it's portraying chaoticness. It's chaos. They're like warning shots almost. It's reactionary. It's self-validation. It's like your immediate response to a relationship or anything, saying like, F you, I got all of this and stuff like that. Like, I'm better than you in every way, shape, and form. This is who I am. This is what it's about. Like, it's very chaotic and all over the place, which explains a lot like the old hip-hop vibe cutting in the middle of the song. Like, complete change up on the beat, on the vibe of the song, everything. But I think it worked perfectly because it's chaotic as shit.
That chaos, like the 80s bridge that happened, right?
Yeah, basically 80s, early 90s bridge that happened with the big beatbox and stuff like that. Yeah, Shut Down, right? Shut Down. It's a materialistic flex and a materialistic validation. They're validating themselves in a materialistic way, saying, "Hey, no, I got more money than you. You ain't as successful as me." All of that, basically directed at that end of relationship. Insert name here type deal. That is their first flex. Is the obvious. You know, I am successful. I have a lot of money. Look at all these clothing brand sponsorships I have. Look at all these top name designer brands that I have sponsorships of. Look at all this money I got. Don't worry, I got a Lambo, you don't, like type deal. Right?
like try to catch up.
Yeah, exactly. You can't, basically. Yeah. Hey. There's
a Lamborghini license plate.
I love that.
I'll be thinking.
TYPA girl. This is a personality flex. This is a personality validation. This is them reminding themselves that they're the woman that you want to take home to your mother. They're fit. They have great personalities, like top tier individuals, basically validating themselves against that said relationship. Like, hey, guess what? You got me, but then you chose to get rid of me, even though I am this top tier individual.
Quick thing to add is in the beginning of that song, they begin with talking about money. It's like my money and my figure both are good.
Yeah.
And then as the song progresses, it goes away from like,
Yeah.
you already know that I have all these nice material things and I have money, but here's the rest of me that you also know that I have.
Let's remind you on all this other stuff too.
Yeah.
Not the blatant obvious
Right.
stuff, which is
Right.
good because it actually shows them going deeper into that self-validation, going for the things that are less obvious maybe.
Yeah.
In discussing it.
I took a note down. I said it makes this song makes it feel like it's your privilege. Like, you're privileged to know them and know that they are like peak, like women. Like, they are like the best
Top
of the
tier.
best, top tier, exactly.
And whether it's on this, probably not on the scale or anything, but I think anyone that's watching right now that has been through like a serious breakup, that type of reactionary response is completely normal. Validating yourself to the extent where you're validating your own personality. You're like, no, I'm a fucking catch, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a catch. Like, there's no, like, that's her loss. That's not my loss. Look at all this shit I bring to the table. Like, you lost that, like, type deal. Completely normal reactionary response, right? So then we get to Hard to Love, right? Oh, wait, no, yeah, I'm so sorry. Yeah. We get to, yeah. Sorry, jumped ahead a little bit. During all this chaos of the first 3 songs, which is just pure chaos and validation. That's basically all it is.
It's also intense and in your face.
Yeah, in your face, intense. In the middle of all of that, through the storyline, someone makes an impression on them at a personal level where they're like, makes them step back for a second. They're like, wait, hold on a second. And it stops this validational process and makes them think to themselves like, oh shit, am I ready for another relationship? And it's basically them saying like, they're shocked basically by this interaction that occurred. They begin to question, are they actually ready for this relationship? Like basically like, oh shit, you know what? I think this breakup might have hurt me a little more than I thought it did. Mm. I don't know if I'm emotionally there to handle that type of situation type deal, right? They're suspicious of the idea, basically. Hard to Love comes on.
Before you move on, I think
go ahead.
It's the idea of like, I was like, I'm gonna go for it. Like, I'm concerned. I'm like, oh, maybe
but
I
it's
should
like an effort. Like,
but I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
And then like before you go to like when you go to the Hard to Love, it's like you take a step back where you're like, okay, hold on. Yeah. Like this seems like because think about it.
Bro, that's hilarious. I have the Happiest Girl, A Step Back.
Sorry, Happiest Girl. Sorry.
Yeah,
but sorry. Yes.
It's Hard to Love. I have they're second guessing how they emotionally felt.
Exactly. So it's like they jump in. So like, you know what, this could be cool. Yeah, I can do it. But it's almost like a spur of the moment thing, where it's like, I flexed. I know I'm a good person. I know I bring value to the table. Here's somebody that I'm interested in.
Yep.
I'm gonna go for it. And then it's almost a second thought where it's like,
wait, am I ready?
I don't think I'm ready for this.
Yeah.
So sorry, go ahead.
You were spot on.
Yeah.
Spot on, 100%.
Real quick, I think I agree with you guys. I said in mine, big transition point for the album.
100%.
Like this is where
100%.
This is the one.
This is the exact song where it pivots.
Yeah.
And I put it's an uncertainty about themselves, and it makes them start questioning about like them as people, like who they are.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And go ahead. I want to make sure.
So I remember correctly, that's the solo.
That's what I was about to say.
And
it makes perfect sense that it's the solo.
Wait, Hard to Love is a song.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it is a conversation with self. If you think about it,
Wait, that is
everything else is I'm showing.
Let's go.
If everything else has been, I didn't click until
flex to the
right
world,
now.
yeah.
Flex to the world. Look what I bring to the table monetarily. Look what I bring to the table personality wise. Here is somebody that intrigues me, but am I ready for it?
And it transitions, or you see,
It becomes the interaction occurs,
introspective,
and then Hard to Love becomes introspective.
It's an internal strife of like, I'm thinking here like, oh man, I have this opportunity that I can jump at, but like, in my heart of hearts, is this a good call? It's like looking yourself in the mirror and being like, can I do this? Should I do this? Am I ready for this? And then it unfolds from there. I didn't click until like as we literally talked about it, because before we try to kind of keep our opinions to ourselves so we can now have a kind of open table. But like that would be the reasoning that I would do a solo if I'm putting an album together. Because if it's the whole group, it's a little harder to make it like, oh, they're all speaking to themselves. But you have one member come out and do a shorter song and say, okay, hold on. Can I do this? Am I ready for this? I'm going to look inward and literally have my own thought process on the table of like, can I, regardless of all the other things, everything that I've named, this other individual, I'm ready to go. But am I ready to go?
Yeah.
And you go from there.
Dude,
Go for it.
I love that. That
yeah.
you said that way
Conversation
better
with
than I
self.
could ever
it
say
clicked
that.
perfect. Like
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
made so much more sense.
Yeah, it does now.
But I
It
want you
does.
to
It does.
explain.
All right. So the happiest girl. There's two.
Wait, are we
different-
not going to Hard to Love, or did we
No,
consider
we just did hard to
we
love.
just covered it?
That was the solo.
Solo,
Okay.
Hard to Love.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think
You have something for solo to add?
Hard
to Love?
it's more like a question. It's like I wonder if the reason why Rose had this solo is if she had recently went through something.
What if this could be initially
that
based off her
100%,
own personal?
100% crossed my mind.
Yeah.
Because if you're making a song that's that vulnerable and that's that own call to self-actualization,
Yeah.
I feel as though it has to be somebody who has actually had to make that call of self-actualization. Of like, this is how I genuinely felt when I was in this position.
To make,
I am going to be passionate about it. Not saying the other ones can't.
but to make the song more real.
Yeah.
This is the questions how I asked myself,
Maybe.
the points I made to myself, the conversations I had with myself.
Wow.
I'm going to put all of that, regardless if she went through it, she's going through it, or whatever it may be. Like, I'm going to take that and that experience and put it into the song, so people like us are sitting here thinking like, that's real, that's raw.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because we speculated. If you go back in the videos, you'll see like we speculated like, oh, I wonder
Maybe
why
they're
she
all
got
solos.
the solo or whatever it may be. And now, like as we talk about it, it clicks
Makes
more and more and
sense,
more
yeah.
of like maybe
Yeah.
that's a real that's.
It had nothing.
arguably,
It
like,
had nothing to do with who has had a solo, who didn't have a solo. It was about who connected directly more to the song than anyone else, because they knew from the start it could only be one person on
Yep.
that song. Wow,
Dude,
I love that. All right,
we
so
would be
the
thinking.
happiest girl, right? There's two scenarios that I theorize for this song, and I think they both equally fit. All right. So the first one, initially, I think for both situations, the happiest girl is a step back. It is they're taking a step back for a second and reflecting on. Hold on, I got to read my notes a little bit. I got to make sure I'm vocalizing this correct way. They're basically the realization of how they responded to the breakup initially. They kind of recognize how they reacted, what they did, basically. They're vocalizing the realization and rationalizing how they'd respond to. So this is where it could switch. It's either a song about them rationalizing how they would respond to if the person in Yeah 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 said no to them.
Oh, interesting.
Rationalizing it could reflect to say how they hide their previous breakup, they hid how their previous breakup actually did matter and affected them in a very negative way. Or two, the other direction is the happiest girl is a direct response to the person in Yeah 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 saying no. Basically like a shock, a punch, a hit at their ego, humbling them for a
So
second.
you're saying it's either them reflecting on the event they already went through,
Yes.
or reacting to them saying, "I'm still gonna go for this person," and that person said no.
And it's like it's a
Interesting. I didn't
shock
think about
back
that.
to
I
reality,
didn't think about
basically.
that. That's really interesting.
So those were the. I don't know which one it is to say. I'm leaning more towards the person in Yeah Yeah Yeah, whoever that individual is, or whatever that individual is. Could be like, I don't know.
Yeah. Here.
Whatever it is, because there's not enough context. But whatever that is, I'm leaning towards that person said no, in a humble shock.
Because
to
I'm
them.
going in the opposite direction of
Okay.
like, I'm going for this person. I'm interested. I can make this move. Am I really ready for this move? And as they begin to dive deeper into almost their own psyche, they're like, man, what I just went through before I even think about going after this person really left me scarred.
I talked about that. For me, it was like more that they are. Sorry, wait. It's like showing themselves that I can get over this breakup. Like I have the ability to put it in the back of my head, and even if it's just like for outward perspective rather than myself, like for them, I can show that I'm over it.
But that's the thing. That's why I think it's more of a song about realizing how they responded, because they understand they put that front on and they didn't properly confront those emotions.
Right.
They didn't properly do it the right way. They just immediately started flexing and trying to rationalize that it's the person who left or whatever it's their fault, not it's their loss, not your own.
Right.
I feel like it's the end of the introspection portion, or maybe not the end, or like towards the end, because they start talking about they're more real here.
Yeah.
Like as individuals, because this one is where they explicitly talk about drinking and smoking, whether it be tobacco or marijuana, which I think is marijuana.
Yeah, that's where I also said the realization of how they have actually.
Yeah, it's the first thing that we see, and I have it written down, is like real life references.
Yeah.
Of like, there's swearing, there's smoking, there's drinking, and it's like these are things that are already known as coping mechanisms of kind of lashing out and using other things that you can grasp onto to get past a scenario.
Totally.
But I also see your end of it of like, oh, it's easy for me to like, pop a bottle or roll something up or, go lash out at somebody. But I also know I can do better than that type thing. So it's two ends of the same coin.
I feel like it's proving to themselves they can get over it.
Two sides of the same coin, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like those are options and those things have been done, but I also can just get through this. And it also goes back to kind of the whole thing of like I know my worth.
Because it feels like the end of an introspection.
Yeah, it's like closing argument and tying it all together.
Yeah, it's like they recognize like what they're going through, but they're like, hey, no, I can get over this.
Right.
Interesting.
I know what I need to do.
100%.
Okay, so then Tally. I believe this is more of a song. So going off of what you said, the happiest girl, it's more them realizing how they can potentially respond to a situation. Like they can be the happiest if they wanted to be, like, or they can actually go directly and take on those emotions.
Right.
I think Tally is more about realizing and accepting the fact that they shouldn't have to feel ashamed for how they acted or responded to the situation that started the album, let's say. It's them really going, you know what? I reacted the way I did, but there's nothing wrong with that. I'm a human being, just like everybody else. I have the right to react the way I did. And I shouldn't feel ashamed about that. I shouldn't be embarrassed by that. That is in the past. I'm over it now. That's not what I'm doing anymore. But there's no reason I should look back at that time frame of my life with any type of sour like emotion. Like,
and on top of that, it's also other people shouldn't shame me for how I acted.
Correct, because you are allowed to. Yeah, you're allowed to respond the way you need to.
And there's
process the way you want.
There's even a bar in that says like people looking at me compared to looking in the mirror.
Yeah,
and it's like people are, especially because like we're talking about like Blackpink here, right? Like they're top of the top. People look up to them and
under a microscope.
They're under a microscope for every single thing they do, right? Like every single decision, they're representing their brand every minute of every single day. So there's no doubt people are out there that are like, they shouldn't be doing this, they shouldn't be doing that. This is on top of that, in the song they talk about how a lady or a girl is supposed to act compared to a man, and it's like. Now you have that social pressure on top of the popularity, and now it's at the same time of like I'm allowed to how I react we wanted to, and I accept it because I didn't hurt anybody. At the same time, you should also accept it because I'm living my life. Look at yourself.
Yeah. I actually I wrote down that I feel like this was like the closing of the 100%. Like there's no longer anything about introspection.
Right.
It's all about like wait a second. No, like
I didn't fuck up.
I didn't do anything wrong. And they said like a first line is like fuck it when I feel it. Like, wait, hold on.
Yeah.
Wait a second. Yeah. It's not me. And they're like starting to look at the traditional stereotypes, right? Yeah. Like, oh, being a fuckboy, like I can beat if I want to, but no, I can't because that's dirty, right? Like all of those like traditional stereotypes are breaking down like one by one. Like, no, wait, hold on. This is
the closure.
This isn't about me. This is your problem. Like this is not.
Yeah.
It's like no longer putting the blame on themselves and not shouldering it anymore.
Yeah. And the whole thing of no one's keeping tally. It's like, I'm sure there's people out there who are like, oh, you shouldn't be doing this, shouldn't be doing that.
You've sworn 43 times in the past
but
month.
not only that is like the people you care about aren't keeping a tally.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So like no one that you truly, genuinely think you care about is impactful to you, value their opinion. No one's keeping a tally of like, oh, you've done this many times because they know you're coping, you're getting through it. However you do it is however you do it. And they're saying, you know what? I'm with you. I appreciate you letting me do what I do, and I don't really give a fuck about everybody else.
Yeah. And then, obviously, Ready for Love is the start of the chapter of their new life. That
says it in the title.
That chapter, it's pretty self-explanatory. That chapter of their life, 7 out of 8 songs, is now closed, done, in conclusion. Ready for Love is the new chapter, and everyone's good, ready, emotionally prepared.
On top of that, in terms of timing, we found out that we didn't react to Ready for Love yet before this album, which is in terms of getting an album ready. If you are making it a storyline, that is the best thing to release other than the first two.
Well, they give you both, right? They give you the end and they give you the beginning.
Exactly. Exactly.
Damn,
and I have that
bro.
written down. I said the album starts upbeat, slows down, and gets personal, then ends upbeat, and that's the flow of healing. Right? The flow of healing is right after you get out of something, you're going to do things and you're going to think about things that make you feel better. Just natural reaction of like, I am sad. I want to feel better.
Wow.
Look at what I have. I got money. I got these things. I got people. I have things that other people want.
Yep.
Then you go through a process of vulnerability, of breaking down a little bit, understanding what's going through, and you end, on the other side of struggle is something worth fighting for, which is the flow of healing, which is the end result of like, I am back on my feet, I'm stronger, and I have learned. And now in terms of a logistics standpoint, if you're going to release a song, you're going to release the first one that's a banger that's going to get people's attention, and the last one, because going into the album, you're going to think, oh, we're just listening to all these upbeat songs.
Yeah, upbeat bangers.
They're not really related. They're just
And
like,
they got
there's
the
Pink
hidden
Venom, and
At this
then
moment, there's no connection. There's just complete
they're
disconnect.
just two different songs in the same album because there's going to be multiple kinds of music, and it's all going to be great.
You're so
And you have no idea that it's the... I appreciate it. Yeah, but like you go into it having no clue that Pink Venom is the beginning of a story and Ready for Love is the end of a story.
Yeah.
Like, no clue.
Yeah.
They're just two songs and they have sweet music videos and dope sound, and that's it.
Yeah. End all be all. Dude, to be honest, like, so we haven't looked up any reviews online or anything. We haven't even looked up.
We literally finished
Comments.
the album, re-listened to the album, and just went for this.
But I'm gonna be honest, like, dude, I think it's a beautiful album. Not only because of the direct storyline of transitioning from a breakup to being ready again, but also because in that process, within the actual music, they were able to touch on so many social cultural things that are flawed or wrong, and they were able to approach it in a way where they could express what was wrong with it, and they could provide like, this is the way it really should be type deal. And I think that's really important. I am personally a big fan of cohesive albums.
Oh, I love a good storyline album.
Like, that's like very high value to me. Like, I am stupid old school when it comes to listening to music. I don't really listen to playlists. I listen to albums as a whole. I will turn a fucking album on. I won't turn on like a playlist
Like
or something.
track one to end track.
And I'll listen it all the way through, and I won't put anything else on until I finish the album because I care a lot about that storyline, and they do it in this album really fucking well.
Yeah,
and it's nice. I don't know what else to say about it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think we're all in agreement.
Yeah.
there.
Do you guys have any other?
I just have like general
points?
notes.
Yeah, I have general notes about like songs.
Go ahead. I don't actually
Yeah.
have any general notes. I did a whole instead.
I think
yeah.
Pink Venom is my favorite song.
Oh, okay. I could do favorite. Yeah.
So
whatever.
my favorite song is Pink Venom, and I really do like Shutdown and Type of Girl. I think those are my like 3 favorite songs. Might be partially because of my like general music bias. It feels much more like hip hoppy, like rap poppy kind of sound, and it's less of the like sad, more introspective portions, which I still appreciate, obviously. But those are just like my general favorite like type of beat. I loved the 80s portion, especially when Jenny was rapping. That part hit so hard in Pink Venom. I really liked Type of Girl. Oh, that was great. I thought Lisa's rap part and that was fucking fire. Thought it was really good. And I really like how they were talking about like they like start talking about themselves instead of them as a group. And it's like it's the start of the introspection piece that we talked about. Like, I am a great individual. Like, I am the type of girl that you want to bring home to your mom. I'm the type of girl that you dream about. I'm the kind of type of girl that it will be your privilege to be around. I think that's a really good piece. And then I also said that, what did I say? Oh, I thought the happiest girl, when they start explicitly talking about smoking and drinking, was very different from the typical Blackpink song. Like it was so out of left field. We were like, whoa,
and it's
whoa.
because of how much they're exposing themselves, right?
Yeah.
They're opening themselves up to so much criticism for just those lines alone.
It's pure vulnerability.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Tally, I really like that too. I thought Jenny went super hard in that part. I thought her singing in that piece was chef's kiss. Yeah, that's my general notes on like the album, like specifically like song by song.
Right.
But I agree with your
synopsis.
100%. Yeah.
I just have more general stuff. I think they're using the album and their position for a really good cause. They talk a lot about, and like that goes back to vulnerability. Because once again, I kind of like, it's what we were talking about when we did a few BTS songs off their album. You show the highs and the lows of somebody that you value. You show the highs and the lows of somebody that people look up to and idolize. This is Blackpink, right? Like, people look at them like, oh my God.
Like
They're top of the fucking food chain.
They got
right?
their shit together.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you have those songs that hit, and you're like, this is like Pink Venom. This is Blackpink. Shut it down. This is like this is Blackpink. And then it starts to get vulnerable, and you're like, hold on, like I can relate to some of that kind of stuff. When I went through some hardships, I had to also claw my way back.
Yep.
Or I also understand the choice of having the drinking and the smoking and the whatever, but like making a better decision. So like I was a big fan of that. And using that position to be like, hey, we all go through it. Like regardless of telling a story or not, something that everybody goes through. And hearing somebody that you idolize saying like I went down this path and we all have, is like, oh shit, like I'm not kind of alone in this struggle. Relatable to a larger audience, because it's cool to listen to a song and say this slaps, but it's different to listen to a song and go, I feel that.
Yeah.
Like that impacts me and I can relate. That's a big one for me. I think this album, they were more likely or willing to take risks and less worried about social judgment. So a lot of the beginning stuff was, we're hitting it hard with Blackpink, and now we start risking with swearing. We'll talk about smoking, talk about drinking, talk about...
Dude, even the flexing was a risk.
Yeah, flexing
like
was a big risk.
Flexing they did,
Talking
that's
about
a
like
risk.
man versus woman and societal issues.
Type of girl.
Yeah, we're like these are all quote unquote risky things to talk about, but they don't.
Yeah.
They just don't care.
We say the flexing is a risk, but that's what all the guys do.
Yeah.
All the men
Constantly.
do in any music,
100%.
Especially in hip hop.
consistently. Yeah.
Hip hop and pop.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Which is definitely the
Yeah.
like
Oh, yeah.
genre. Yeah.
Sorry, keep going.
No, you're good.
Shmo.
I'm just trying to. I have a lot of notes.
Yeah.
Shouldn't I erase them as I go?
Yeah.
Sorry. Go ahead.
I have one more like general note about the album, not song specific. Much more singing based than their previous album. The album was much more rap based. It felt like even more so. Like I think Lisa and Jenny, who are the rap duo of the group, definitely. I mean, they rapped maybe like less than 10 verses total. Like I can't imagine there's more than that.
Probably, actually.
And if
Like
they
it wasn't much. And
if they did rap, it was like a hot 16 and they walked away.
Yeah,
Like,
and
it
it-
wasn't like
yeah.
I'm just gonna rap and I'm gonna dip. It was like sing, sing, sing. Here's my rapping. Sing, sing, sing.
Yeah.
Totally agree. I have written down great mix of rap and vocal range, and it wasn't like, you have your rappers and your singers.
Oh, sorry. I never called out Jisoo's. Jisoo's singing was
Yeah,
great.
Yeah.
This album. Great.
And Rose sang great too.
Yeah.
I mean, well, obviously, Rose always thinks like,
Yeah.
he's like,
Yeah, like not the difficulty, like the dynamic range of all of them was on full display, even from song to song.
Yeah, even I think I
Right.
called out in one of the songs. It was one of the first two, I forget. But
wasn't Lisa rapping in like the Pink Venom?
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, Jenny did
her
too.
and Jenny had that
Yeah.
that like 80s
Yeah.
90s hip hop.
No. Yeah,
they both did.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I called out in one of the earlier reactions was Lisa singing. I was like, wow, I feel like I haven't heard her sing in like several songs
In a while,
In like
yeah,
a long.
yeah,
It
yeah.
felt. I mean, I'm sure she has, but it felt like it because I'm so used to seeing her like as like the rapper.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I think they did a good job of breaking that stigma too.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to, especially in a group of four, you don't want to pigeonhole it as you have two singers, you have two rappers. They're like mutually exclusive.
Yeah.
These are what they do.
Yeah.
It's like, no, like, they're a group. They can do all of it.
They got range. They got range. They can do it.
And the last thing I wrote down or have left is it shows a range of the actual vibe of the song. So you have some songs in this album that are like, I could play this in the club. I can go hard. I could be dancing to this song.
Yeah.
You have songs that you're laying on your bed thinking like, damn, like,
or I'm curled up in a ball inside my sheets.
I'm kind of going, I'm kind of going through it. They have songs that we said in the reactions, like, I would play this on the way to the beach. I would play this with my arms out in the car.
Yeah.
Right? And so that range is so interesting because it's difficult to have all of those be on the same album with the same 4 people. Especially when you are doing it with 4 people, because every single person in the group has to be on the same vibe.
Yep.
If you're doing it with a solo artist, that's one person that has to convey this emotion, and then this one, and then that one, and that one. Still very difficult, but imagine having to do the same conveying of emotion in the same frame of music, and the same rhythm, the same rhyme scheme, the same whatever, for 4 different individuals, and still have it be mutually like independent. Like no one's doing the same thing or biting off each other or rapping or singing the same way. Everyone has their independent character, but it's still in the same rhyme scheme, still in the same rhythm, still cohesive, and still conveys the same emotion. Like it's not an easy thing to do across 8 songs, especially when trying to tell a story. Like it's like that's not an easy thing to do.
I totally agree. All right, so top 2 songs.
You're gonna have to come back to me.
Top 2 songs. I think you already said
Pink Venom and Type of Girl, probably.
Type of Girl? Okay, so mine's the Happiest Girl in Pink Venom. In that order, by the way. The Happiest Girl is still my favorite song of this album. Yeah.
It's okay.
It's okay. Can you name a couple of your favorites?
I do. I mean, the Pink Venom '90s is just like
it hits. Right?
It hits so.
It hits like a
so
personal,
hard.
cultural thing for us.
Definitely personal culture.
That's why I think it's almost a cop out to say Pink Venom in my mind, because I'm like, dude, like, but that '90s hip hop part is like even when like the tone shifts and you hear the hi hats and that high pitched squeal, I'm like, oh,
you're like, no way!
I'm back hooping on Saturdays as a high schooler. Like I feel like I'm doing that again. I really liked the solo.
Really? Okay.
I really liked the solo because hard to love because it was a very emotional song that still made you want to dance and move. And that's a hard thing to hit. Yeah. So if you're conveying emotion, usually you're going to sit there and, like you said, curl up into a ball or be a little like, hey, I'm kind of going through it. But like, if you look back at the reaction the whole time, I'm sitting here like, you know, I'm vibing. And this song is about self-reflection. And so should I be vibing? Maybe not. But like I'm sitting here like really. Like,
I'm taking your self-reflection as super vibing.
And just dude, I was slapped. This self-reflection on the beach, bro. This was fire. Yeah, let's probably say those 2. It's hard to pick, but I'd probably say those 2.
Any closing statements, or do you think?
I got nothing, man. I think
I feel like we went ham.
Well, so once again, this is our first time doing this. Please let us know how we did. Give us critique, advice, things like that. Validate us. Let us know if we're on the right
totally
track.
Let us know if we're
totally wrong and we're just senile at this point and not knowing
all
what
the
we're talking
comments
about.
are like, dude, what the hell
Where
are you
did
talking
you
about?
get all this?
They're like literally 0 sense. Made no sense. I'm like, oh, okay.
I'm gonna blame Lemo Ring if I get this wrong. Yeah, if we get this wrong, I'm blaming all the color-coded websites or channels. I'm blaming them all.
Quick thing with the color-coded ones, we try to find the best one that will bring us, I guess, quote-unquote, the most value. But the reason we've been using those is because it plays the song at a high quality, plus gives us the lyrics at the same time. We know some of them might not be 100% correct, and we're trying to find a better solution. And so we know like some of them may not have the perfect translation, but it's the best that we can do.
Yeah, and if there was any that we looked back through and were like, that doesn't make any sense, we looked online for like legitimate, like real translations, like good ones, and to correlate to see if like it was on the right track.
Yeah, and like you won't see that, but like there's parts where we stopped it and we're like, this might not be what it's actually trying to say. Yeah. Looked for a translation, then went back and said, okay, this is pretty much saying the same thing. So,
but. Besides that, as always, y'all know what to do. Go ahead, like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell, check out that Patreon, and thanks for stopping by the Monday Man Podcast. Oh.
Huh?
Not a podcast.
Millennial Men channel.
Channel.
Later.
Fuck, damn it. I only had to do one thing.